terrifying. Absolutely. Um, I've done it both. I've drowned once on the Mississippi doing an expedition. I was out for 3 minutes when they revived me, and now I'm burning alive. And people have always asked, geez, I wonder what's the worst way to go. I'll take drowning. Are you kidding me? You want to burn alive? It is just no way to go.
Oh my God, he's in
Daddy,
trouble.
Daddy.
Babe, Troy?
He's down.
Now I'm burning alive.
Death equalizes us. There's a lot of ego and a lot of pride to a man's life, to people in general, but in a man's life. You hear all the time that it's a bad thing to be prideful and egotistical and arrogant, and for sure that is true, and you don't want to be those things, but at the same time, everybody needs a little bit of ego, self-belief, confidence, even if it's an illusion, even if it's fake, even if that ego is nothing more than you just pretending to be something that you're not. Those things allow you to climb to greater heights in life. I think about my dad a lot, who was a very egotistical human being, very prideful, so proud. So proud. And I feel like in some ways it was that pride that killed him. And then what gets left behind? In my father's case, not a lot. There's a lot of pieces, and it was up to me for a while to sift through that wreckage, if you will. Taken years, a half a decade and more, until finally it's reached a point, or maybe I've reached a point where I can handle it and I can start to piece it together. I got asked not too long ago, what are you searching for? What's it about? And I think that this God theory, the question, the life and the legacy, I think that's what it's about. When someone does something and they're striving towards a goal their entire life, and they have self-destructive tendencies, and every single time they're close to getting it, some unseen force ends up ruining it, or they themselves tear it down. What does that mean? What do you do with that? You have decades of a life all striving towards its own purpose, its own question, its own answers. And you always ask, what is it about? What is it for? Why are you doing these things? And sometimes it's not very clear. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Especially with an incredibly complicated and diverse life filled with absolutely no middle ground, only ups and downs, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. And after my dad died, I searched for a purpose a lot. Not my own, maybe, or maybe I was searching for my purpose through his life and his death. And it's like I was offended. I was mad at him, but I was angrier that at that time it didn't seem to mean anything. We spoke about that often, he and I, especially him. He was obsessed with death. We talk about pride, and he would only live life his own way. He would bend to no one. And it's like, where does that get you? So once it's done, and there's very little to show for it, especially in my father's case. It's just like scattered remnants in a box I have, old photos, random fragments on the internet, the odd YouTube video here, a clip there, an old forum, a lot of it that he destroyed himself. You just try and search for the meaning in all of it. And I think in that aspect, you can't answer that question of what was it all about. Only he really knew that. But I think I found another answer, or at least the right questions to be asked regarding that. And that's, what do I do with it? He only had one child, that's me. I guess I'm half of that man. And it's up to me now whether I want to just let it be forgotten, destroy it, or try and build what he left behind. There's a lot there, it's just all burned down. It's all burned away. But there's something there to be picked up and sorted through and made sense of and projected forth. And I talk about purpose and affecting people and legacy and living forever and being immortalized and reincarnated. And maybe that's what this can be. You know, after he died, my mother specifically got so many Facebook messages, and they were all positive, and I was blown away because I was so pissed off at him at the end. And he was so angry and so terrible to be around. I was surprised anybody liked him. So it made me feel a lot better to see that he had a very positive effect on people's lives. Not my life at that time, but other people. And they were able to keep him alive in a way. His ideas, his spirit, his energy. He left something behind. And that's what I keep going back to. I don't know anything about religion. I don't know if there is a creator or a God, if there's nothing, but, and I'm not saying magic exists, but you have to admit that you can have an effect on people, and you can have life-changing altercations, interactions, things that happen, for good and bad. This is positive, hopefully. And anyway, it affected these people so much so that they had to reach out and share that with my mother, and she shared it with me, and it really helped us through that. It was so nice to think of my father in a positive light. And this was about 6 years ago, till here we are now. And he still left something behind, whether it's art or video games or movies, but there's inspiration there, and there's something to do with his life and his legacy. And I think that's true for almost everybody. And so I intend to take what he left behind and build with it as he did, and use it and make something for myself. It was not a waste. There was purpose to it. You never know what that purpose is. Maybe we make or choose our own purpose and our own goal. Maybe that's what free will is. So I'm going to take some overwhelmingly negative aspects of life, of his life, of mine, and some overwhelmingly positive aspects of that as well, and I'm going to blend it together, and we're going to build something together. He's not here anymore, but I don't think he ever really left.